I've been in the journalism business since I was 19 years old. A long damn time. And when I see a newspaper bald-faced lie to its readers, I'm gonna call it out. We don't often start one of our stories with a newspaper headline, but the Galveston Daily News, they owe the community a public apology.
You think the newspaper is playing politics?
100%. But that doesn't surprise me. I'm kind of shocked that they're still in business, to be honest.
The newspaper has been helping Dickinson Mayor Sean Skipworth for months, trying to portray him as a poor victim of mean-spirited politics. Now the newspaper's editor Michael A. Smith tells voters in Dickinson they should reject the campaign to recall their buddy. That's totally fine. It's an editorial, their opinion. But telling people the campaign to get rid of the mayor is a nameless, faceless campaign is just a bald-faced lie. An insult to the dozens of folks who gathered at Dickinson City Hall the other day to see the recall begin. The affidavit to start the recall wasn't faceless at all. It was signed by 5 people. 3 of them former Dickinson City Council members. Wally Dietz served 9 years on council, fought for term limits.
What happens is when council won't act and rein them in, then it's up to the citizens to do something about it, and that's what we're doing.
84-year-old Lewis Decker was on council for more than 20 years. And then there's former council member Bruce Henderson, who says it's the mayor's vindictive conduct that's really dividing the city. They're all part of what's called Citizens for Responsible Government, alleging the mayor and the city manager have teamed up to ruin Dickinson.
People in Dickinson have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they won't answer our questions.
Former City Councilman Scott Schrader didn't sign the affidavit, but is helping lead the fight.
At this point, I think our only option is a recall of Skipworth at this point.
We began our Dickinson investigation a year and a half ago, as a nasty fight was breaking out over how to develop this prime stretch of the bayou next to the Gulf Freeway. The mayor and city manager promised the town a massive $121 million mixed-use development on Water Street, including a $4.5 million parking garage with free parking.
So I'm hoping within a couple of years we'll be able to go over there and have dinner, have a lunch or whatever. So
local businessman Joe Wilburn and other members of the Dickinson Economic Development Corporation thought building restaurants in a small stretch of the property along the bayou first was a better economic fix, a boost to tourism for the bayou. The mayor didn't like it, filed a criminal complaint, in fact, alleging secret meetings, and immediately made it all public. Began a campaign to purge the political opposition from the volunteer board.
You think he came in and basically chopped your legs off?
Absolutely, yeah.
Multiple officials complained to us it was the mayor who was trying to steer the taxpayer-owned land to his employer, the College of the Mainland, where he's a professor, his wife is a trustee. But here is the reality today. 3 years later, do you see any restaurants? Any tourism boats? And that big Water Street project, the one the mayor said was the most successful project the EDC ever put together, it's still dozens of acres of nothing.
I'm sad for the city and I'm scared. I grew up here. I graduated from here.
The Dickinson Chamber of Commerce is now closing, and the mayor is accused of running the campaign to destroy it, helping hide unexplained land deals while sales tax dollars continue to shrink.
They've got nothing to show for millions and millions of city taxpayers' dollars. We have nothing. We have less than we had when they showed up.
Chamber President Dawn King isn't nameless or faceless, and she supports the recall election. Surveillance video at Dickinson City Hall exposed a possible illegal meeting in the mayor's office before another one of his political opponents was dispensed with. And when city volunteers questioned contracts with a company called ProSource while a councilman worked there, they were kicked out of their government positions too. It's a disturbing pattern. Since Skipworth became mayor and Theo Melanson city manager, more than 125 employees in a town with a population of just 21,000 have resigned or have been fired. That's unheard of.
They're going to destroy you. they're going to kick you to the curb and come stomp on you till you're done.
The mayor attacked us simply for asking for public records.
Someone has hired an investigative reporter to dig around and put a hit piece together and do public information requests.
How dare us ask for records that taxpayers pay for? Mayor Skipworth claimed he's transparent while he hides the records. Most recently, the payments to a firm called TXP. We had to file a lawsuit to gain access to the records, and the mayor then got the city council recently to hire the Rusty Harden law firm at $500 an hour to fight us. They really like lawyers in Dickinson. Since Skipworth was elected, get this, $645,000 in legal fees. But the mayor is unsurprisingly fighting back now with a new website called UniteDickinson.com. He paid for flyers that arrived in mailboxes around town, attacking a lot of folks, including me. He bashes our investigation into the city's denial of hot water to low-income residents of the Creekside apartment complex, forcing the eventual closing of the place, leaving some residents homeless.
I just want answers, like why were we treated this way?
There was never any dispute that there were significant building code violations at the aging low-income apartment complex. It had been swamped by the hurricane years before, but the city chose to ignore the fact that the Calcan family who owned it had already spent millions of dollars trying to fix the place up.
For them wanting to kick us out of our home to go find someplace else, I think that is outrageous.
Emails the city fought to hide showed the city targeted Creekside for closure even before they inspected the place, even preparing a press release the day before. The mayor was accused of telling people not to pay rent, costing the Calcan family up to $200,000 a month. Some members of the Building Standards Commission now believe they were misled about how bad Creekside really was. Did it need to be shut down? Low-income residents forced to find another place to live in December around Christmas?
I believe that we probably were misled on how bad it really was.
Susan Wilcox, she signed her name to start the recall effort too. She's not nameless. Yet the Galveston Daily News actually calls this nameless, faceless campaign to get rid of the mayor bullshit. Their word. They know that's not true. The Creekside property right off 517 on the Gulf Freeway has been shuttered for a year. We were allowed to document that some of the complaints by a few residents were actually unfounded. The property was once worth $30 million, now worth a small fraction of that. And this is where Sean Skipworth put the city at risk again. And not just legally. The Calcan family was willing to do a $750 million redevelopment of 60 acres around Creekside until they saw our investigation. It is Skipworth who may have jeopardized the chance to get $1 billion company to help revitalize his town. And now he calls it once again a slum in his new flyer fighting the recall. And me some kind of political operative. But for which politician? Whatever. Dickinson voters should care about transparency. They should care their city manager hid alcohol purchases on the city dime. They should care a councilman works for a company that's getting big contracts. And they should care that the mayor has tried to shut down often public debate.
You're out of order. No. Okay, everyone stop. Or we're gonna have to remove people from the room.
They should demand an accounting of why the city buys so much real estate they don't use, why the mayor won't let auditors look at the records. The Galveston Daily News wants you to believe the mayor has no responsibility beyond that of another city councilman in a city manager form of government. They are dead wrong, and we've proved it time and time again. These nameless, faceless people who crowded City Hall all say Skipworth has abused his power like a dictator. And by the way, that's how he came up with the Dick of Dickinson. Remember when we got the mayor's text messages, how he bragged about having another city official on a, quote, short leash? It spoke volumes about the way Sean Skipworth conducts himself when he doesn't think you're watching.
If Sean were sitting right here in front of me, I would look him right in the face and say, there is not a single thing about this that's personal. But I was never your enemy. But you've made me your enemy.